Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Dr. Andrea Ryan, and I am a chiropractor and Blue Diamond leader with doTERRA up in Canada, in Ontario. And I am really excited here today to present to you the overview of the basic oils and products that I suggest to individuals who really want to work on their cellular health. We're obviously going to focus on DDR Prime and Turmeric Duo Caps. However, there are a few other products by the end of the call that I want to review as well, simply because I think it has to be more of a full faceted approach simply than just one. A little bit of background, as I said, I am a chiropractor. I'm a mom to 3 kids. And as a chiropractor, our focus is nervous system health. It has always been at the forefront of what our profession deals with. And so for me, when we talk about cellular health, I recognize that the nervous system is the master control system of the body. We have our brain, our nervous system, meaning our spinal cord and our nerves that go to all cells, tissues, and organs in the body. So for me, it was really important to respect the inflammatory response and recognize that we can have a healthy versus an unhealthy inflammatory response. And so as we go through this presentation, you're going to see me touch upon that a lot. But recognize that when the inflammatory response, when we have a lot of inflammation in our system, that really breaks down to the disease process so often. And that's why I think this is a critical component of our lifestyle with the lifestyle choices we have. And so as we go through this, if it feels like I'm harping on it, please recognize that there is a reason behind all of this, because we know that as I said, that when we have a lot of inflammation or heavy inflammation, that's going to lead to a lot of different disease processes that are out there. I also want to give note to Dr. David Hill, who I took, he has a great YouTube presentation out there and talking about DDR Prime and the importance of it when it comes to cellular health. If you have seen that presentation, you'll note that a lot of the points are the same throughout this. He's sort of the original guy that stems in doTERRA for presenting all about the importance of cellular health and DDR Prime and different products and oils. So obviously, I want to make mention of the fact that this was the original content came from his presentation. I just brought in a few other topics and products that I think would be of importance as well. And I just want to give a little bit of a slight to more from a chiropractic perspective. So when we start about the basics of health, first of all, recognize that your body is made up of somewhere between 30 to 50 trillion cells. That's a lot. I can't even conceptualize how many that is. But recognize that your body is slightly larger, or is made up of slightly larger amounts of bacteria. Now, bacteria is where the bacterial, the health of our bacteria, and the bacterial makeup of our body. There is so much information and important products and science and research showing the need for proper gut bacteria and bacteria throughout our entire system. doTERRA has some incredible products with PB Assist Junior, and then prebiotics in our nutritional lines. But today we're going to talk with regards to cellular health specifically and leave bacterial health to a whole other topic. So disease is fundamentally linked to the overall needs and health of your cells. Your cells are what make up everything in your body. Cells are what lead to tissues. Tissues are what lead to organs. And of course, you are made up of a whole ton of organs. We have our nervous system, organs make up systems. So we have our nervous system, we have our digestive system, we have our elimination system, we have you name it. There's so many different systems in your body, and it all breaks down to cells. So ensuring that the health of our cells is as optimal as possible is going to be really important. And we need to do, or our body will do whatever it needs to do in order to keep itself healthy. This is the fundamental I think understanding that just gets lost in so many pieces, is that when we get sick or when we have disease, and disease, of course, I break it down to dis/ease, or a lack of ease. When we have dis-ease within our body is doing whatever it needs to do in order to recuperate and come back to a place of optimal health and well-being and function. And so often what we find is that people look at symptoms as breakdown in our body, right? Like, let's start with something simple. We get a runny nose. Well, runny nose, most people look at that and say, oh my gosh, I have a runny nose, I must be sick. And instead, if we can look at symptoms as a means of our body trying to balance the way our body is functioning, or how it's manifesting with health, or not manifesting, what's the word I'm looking for here, um, how it's presenting with its health, there's a very big difference of looking at symptoms from a negative standpoint versus a positive standpoint. So when we get sick, if we encounter a germ of any type, whether it's a bacteria or a virus, it's going to get into our system and it's going to break down our defenses. If we, as wellness advocates, we've looked at how we talk about health of our cells, and we know that, we have our cells and we have that protective cell membrane around it. And that protective cell membrane tends to keep the bacteria out, and the viruses unfortunately can get through that and replicate within the cell. We know that. That's the basic foundation of how germs impact our body. But when we look at how our body reacts to those germs, the process of getting sick when we are symptomatic isn't necessarily a bad thing. If you have a germ in your system, whatever it is, if it's, let's say, a bacteria or a virus, your body is trying to get rid of that through a runny nose or a cough, or pooping it out or vomiting it out, whatever it is, your body is trying to expel that out of your system. So symptoms can actually be a very good indication that our body is doing well. So that process of dis-ease is not something to be feared. It's not something to be frustrated with. We actually want to revere our systems and really honor our system when it's going through that process. I'm a mom to 3 kids. We have taught our children from day one that when they get sick, it's almost something of a celebration to recognize and honor what our body is doing in order to promote health once again. Yeah, it feels icky. It feels gross. No one likes to be sick. But I think we need to take a step back and recognize that even though we're going through that process, it's not necessarily a bad thing. So there are 3 main requirements when it comes to cellular health, and we're going to break each of these down on the next slide: energy, protection, and resilience. So let's look at the doTERRA products for cellular health. When we look at energy, the first one that pops to mind is lifelong vitality. Everyone should be a fan of this. If you're not yet on lifelong vitality, consider this your sign from the universe to say, yep, I got to get it on my next order because this is so important for me. Now, it's a 3-part supplement. We have the Z Omega, we have the Microplex VMZ. So Z Omega is all about our fatty acids and making sure our fatty acids are balanced with omega 3, 6s, and 9s. We have our Microplex VMZ, which is a whole food nutrient complex. It's basically like this incredibly supercharged multivitamin. I hate saying multivitamin because I don't really feel that it's fair to Microplex VMZ to call it that, but ultimately it's going to be a source of the optimal nutrition for your cells in terms of all the vitamins and nutrients it's going to need. Then we have our Alpha CRS, which stands for Cellular Renewal System, and this is all about the energy. In just a second, we're going to look at the cell, and remember, we're going to come back to Alpha CRS later on in this presentation, but recognize that it is about just bringing so much energy and health into those cells so that they can continue to do for the lifespan of their cells. On Guard and all of its related products, we have so many beautiful products under the On Guard category, is there for protection. So On Guard is about immune support, we think of it, but recognize that that protection extends beyond simply the immune system. We're talking about cellular protection as well. We have clove, which I'll talk a little bit about in the near future, cinnamon, eucalyptus, rosemary, and wild orange. All of these are certainly supportive of our immune support, and recognizing that protection is going to be a key component of On Guard and all of its related products. Then we get into resilience, which of course is the topic of this presentation, because we're really focusing in on DDR Prime and the Turmeric soft gels. So let's dive into each of these products. So 3 factors attributing to cell health or disease. When we have that breakdown, so our cells, every single cell, we have nerve cells, we have skin cells, we have liver cells, we have stomach, cells that line our stomach, we have, you name it, we went through that, 30 to 15 trillion different cells in our body. And when we look at cellular health or cellular disease, 3 main factors: nutrition, toxicity, and inflammation. And truthfully, nutrition and toxicity factor into inflammation at all times. The food that we choose to take in, the nutritional products we choose to take in are either going to produce a healthy inflammatory response or an unhealthy inflammatory response. When we have an increase in the toxicity levels in our system as a result of the foods we take in, the air we breathe, the products we put onto our skin, the product we put in our body, into our hair that we're exposed to, those are all going to impact our cell health and, of course, increase inflammation as well. And if you look back at this cell, I mean, I like to nerd out a bit, but I mean, how freaking brilliant is your body? Like when we think of it at just the cellular level, look at everything that goes on just the cell level, and then expand that to the 30 to 50 trillion different cells that you have. And each of those cells are doing exactly what it's designed to do for the lifespan of that cell without the conscious overseeing of your body. You don't have to tell your liver what to do right now. You don't have to tell your stomach. I ate my lunch about an hour ago. I'm not having to tell my stomach how to digest my lunch in order to break down those foods, how to assimilate those foods, how to extract the goodness out of those foods, how to turn all of those nutrients and vitamins that I've taken from that into the products that I'm going to need for my body, which in turn are going to help my cells. I don't have to go through that whole process consciously. My body just knows what to do. So at a very base level, recognizing how brilliant our cells are and how everything we do from a lifestyle factor attributes to whether or not our cells are going to be healthy or become diseased is pretty, it's sort of almost a little bit of a heavy responsibility at some level, but recognize that when we see pretty much every single disease process that is out there is linked back, over 80 to 85% of diseases is linked back to our lifestyle choices. So what we eat, the products that we bring into our lives, the choice of exercise or non-exercise, everything is going to determine whether our bodies stay healthy or diseased. So if we look at our cells have two natural processes, and every cell, as I said, has a lifespan for which it gets to live. And every lifespan is different. Some cells last longer, some cells last shorter. But when our body is impacted by either toxicity, poor nutrition, or inflammation, it's going to send up a red flag over time. And it sends out a signal because your cell will signal to other cells in the area to say, hey, I'm sick or I'm injured. And the process by which is that your body has to send in some mediators to say, okay, can we repair this cell? Now, when we're repairing cells, the two big things are going to be focusing on proper nutrition and nutritional input, as well as creating a healthy inflammatory response. And the beautiful thing with your body, because it is self-regulating, it's a self-regulating mechanism, it can actually, in many cases, repair the originally damaged cell in order to function better. At some levels, though, it can, the other mediators have come in and said, oh gosh, it's almost like this is too far gone. Either the cell is dying over time and it's just at the end of its lifespan, or the damage is too far gone, even though it's not ready to die. And it sends up that white flag, and then, which is another signal out, and new mediators come in, and that cell is marked for destruction and then elimination. Now recognize that every single cell in your body at some point is going to be destroyed and eliminated. That's just the natural process. But we want to try and allow for that cell to last its entire healthy lifespan, because if we have constantly having to renew, or repair, or create new cells faster or sooner, this process becomes difficult. So it is a normal response in the body, but if that response is ignored and the buildup of unhealthy cells are in your system, there's a greater susceptibility to disease in the long term. So we want to have that healthy repair cycle and then that healthy destruction and elimination cycle going on a regular basis, so that once those unhealthy cells are destroyed and eliminated, new healthy cells that are stronger, more vibrant, and hopefully with proper nutrition and a better inflammatory response can last the length of time that they're designed to actually live. So let's talk about these two products that are going to be a complete overhaul for your system when it comes to cellular health. DDR Prime. And what amazes me is that there are so many people in doTERRA who are unaware of this product. Leaders, in fact, who have been doing this business for years now, who aren't using this product on a regular basis. So DDR Prime promotes healthy cellular integrity. It protects your cells from oxidative stress. It promotes overall cellular health. and a healthy immune response, or aids in a healthy immune response. So DDR Prime, you want to recognize that you should be taking 2 per day with your meals. The reason for this is even though there aren't any oils there aren't any oils in DDR Prime that are going to create digestive distress or digestive issues, but at the same time, we just want to ensure that to minimize any potential stomach discomfort, that take them with meals. So you have a number of different oils that are in DDR Prime in order to support, and I want to jump down and drive through all of these. So frankincense is like the OG of all things inflammation or healthy inflammatory response. I love frankincense. It's my absolute favorite single oil. And while DDR Prime is not my favorite blend, it's up there, but I do love it from a health perspective. So frankincense is my absolute favorite oil. Frankincense, of course, is very healthy for neurological response. It's healthy for skin response. We know it comes from the boswellia tree. It has boswellic acid in it, and that is all about healthy inflammatory response. So we can understand certainly where it's protecting against DNA damage, alongside thyme and lemongrass. So thyme, even way back in the days of Greek mythology, and I mean, we're going back centuries and centuries, thyme from just even the herb or the spice has been known as a protective force. It was used in different ceremonies to protect their warriors when they were going off to war. So thyme, we know from a protection, also prevents potential damage as well when it comes to DNA. And then thirdly, we have lemongrass. So lemongrass is very high in geraniol and nerol. These are all about preventing DNA damage, ensuring that our DNA is functioning as healthy as it can and as healthy as it will. You'll notice when we get to apoptosis, so apoptosis is the destruction and cell death, which is, as we said earlier, a normal healthy response within the body. So not only do we have oils here like frankincense, thyme, lemongrass, and then on the flip of it with wild orange, summer savory, litchi, and clove, they're helping to protect, right? Promote that cellular integrity, keep everything intact. We also have 3 oils in this that will help with respect to the natural death and destruction of the cells as well. So lemongrass, same component. It's almost sort of like an adaptogenic oil where it not only prevents DNA damage, but it also helps with apoptosis. Clove, if you're familiar with this, of course, in our On Guard products, from a protection standpoint, it has the highest level of antioxidants compared to any other oil or any other plant material on the planet. As far as we know, there hasn't been anything brought to light that I'm aware of otherwise. So we recognize how powerful clove is when it comes to its support. Niaouli is in the tea tree family. So if that kind of helps you a little bit, it's part of a tea tree. So it's a cleanser, which would make sense when it comes to apoptosis as well. Then we have oxidative stress. So when it comes to oxidative stress, think of oxidative stress as protection around the cell, ensuring that it is functioning optimally, and really just moving in a direction of health versus one of degradation. So wild orange, of course, very high in limonene, which is supportive of your immune response. It's good for your GI tract, all of that. Wild orange is going to be highly supportive there. Summer savory, this is an oil that unless Niaouli too, were limited time offer oils a while back, but summer savory is absolutely fantastic because it's high in carbachol, which is a phenol, which is an antioxidant as well. We have Litsia, which Litsia is primarily known, of course, for immune support, but again, also good for GI, respiratory function, nervous system function. And then we have clove, which if you remember was in apoptosis. It's the same with oxidative stress. Because it has such high antioxidant contents, it's going to protect the cells from that as well. So I am going to throw out a challenge to anyone who's watching this video that you throw DDR Prime into your sorry, I can't think, your next order in order to be using this. And again, take 2 per day. Now, I will offer that this is not an oil that I notice, or a product. You'll notice it comes in the oil or the product. The oil can be placed onto the bottoms of your kids' feet because the same benefits are going to benefit them long term. But when we look at either the oil or the product, it's not something personally that I notice like, wow, like when I started Lifelong Vitality, within 30 days, I could not believe the shift in how I felt. On the outside, I was seeing a difference. My skin was brighter, my nails were stronger, my hair was thicker, like there were physical benefits I noticed a change and shift in. When it comes to DDR Prime, I didn't see that on the outside, but you have to understand that the inside health is where you're going to see a big shift and a big change. That's where the magic is happening beneath the surface. And it's the process of creating a foundation. We talk about lifelong vitality being a foundation. That's a non-negotiable in my daily intake. DDR Prime falls into that same category. It's about building that healthy foundation from which the rest of my body can express health from. All right, then we have turmeric duo caps, and this is all about promoting, a healthy inflammatory response. Remember I said in the beginning that I was going to sound like a broken record? Healthy inflammatory response. That's what we want when it comes to our body. So years ago, a few years back, doTERRA came out with turmeric oil, and we were all very excited, but I think it was Emily Wright at convention said, if you're going to be taking the turmeric oil, it's very high in the tumerones, but in order for the tumerones to be properly assimilated and uptake in our body, you need to match it or also be taking the turmeric extract or the powder itself. And so she made that comment at the doTERRA convention. The following year, I believe they came out with the turmeric duo caps. And this is completely revolutionary because as far as I know, there is nothing on the market. And if I'm wrong, I apologize, but I know pretty sure there's nothing on the market that has both in it so that you get the benefits of turmerone and curcuminoids in the same actual capsule. So you don't have to take two different products. So the tumerones come from the essential oil, the turmeric oil itself. This helps the body with the absorption of curcumin, which is the curcuminoids, which offers support of the body's natural defenses. Then we have the curcuminoids, which comes from the turmeric extract. So often in India and other countries, they will use turmeric all the time, right? They use it in their cooking, they use it from the powder form because they know the benefit of it, but you really want to grab both in order to fully benefit. It's sort of like eating an egg where we can eat both the white and the yolk for the benefits. And we know when we eat an apple, when we eat the flesh of the apple, it is better absorbed, and we also have the peel of the apple as well. Same with this, we want to have both. So it helps the body fight free radicals and have a role in protecting against oxidative damage and the ability to maintain a healthy inflammatory response at the molecular level. So we're down to absolute minimal cellular molecular levels in your body to promote better health for your overall health and well-being. All right, other oils and products that you would like to dive into or that I think are really important. Copaiba and Copaiba soft gels. Copaiba and frankincense, you'll notice, is number 2. I often liken those very similarly in their benefits for cellular health and neurological health and inflammatory response. But Copaiba has the highest concentration of beta-caryophyllene, supports very healthy inflammatory response, antioxidant benefits. It's going to support your cardiovascular, immune, digestive, nervous system, respiratory system. It's like overall panacea, incredible product. I absolutely love. In fact, I have some right here, my turmeric soft gel, or not turmeric, excuse me, Copaiba soft gels. And I take one of those a day. And I love with both, Copaiba's upstairs, but Copaiba and frankincense, I will often, this is my peppermint, but if I will invert the bottle over my finger and then press my thumb to the roof of my mouth every morning. Not my favorite taste, but I've been doing it now for a few years and you just get used to it. But between those two, it's a really great start to my day to be able to support, again, neurological and healthy inflammatory response. So frankincense is highly supportive of healthy cellular response, high in boswellic acid, and again, healthy inflammatory response. Then we have alpha CRS. Remember in the beginning, I was talking a little bit about lifelong vitality. This is an antioxidant cellular longevity blend. Remember, your cells will have a lifespan. They're not designed to be with you from the day you are born till the day you die. 99% of the cells in your body will die throughout processes in your life. So that's going to be a healthy regenerative process as those cells die down. But the cells, while they are there, we want them to be as healthy and expressing health and be high in energy and be able to do their function. Your liver cells have a function. We want them to be able to do that. Your heart cells have a function. We want them to be able to do that. They need the energy to be able to perform their tasks. So this alpha CRS supports a healthy inflammatory response in cells. broken record, supports mental clarity, function, comprehensive antioxidant supplement, and supports cellular energy. I cannot imagine being without these products on a daily basis. In fact, each and every one of these is what I take every single day. Lifelong Vitality, morning and afternoon for lunch, frankincense and copaiba first thing in the morning, DDR Prime and turmeric soft gels with my meals. That's how I go about my day. I cannot stress the importance of cellular health because it's just, that's your body's makeup. We want to ensure that your cells are performing optimally and able to help you function on a day-to-day basis. So when you do experience symptoms, or when you do experience a little bit of a breakdown or some dis-ease, your body knows what it needs to do. We're here to support it through all processes, not just when we're healthy, but also when we're sick or when we're expressing those symptoms. So when we have our body that can function optimally, even when we feel we're not functioning optimally, recognize that that's the time to, again, revere your body, take the time to rest, give it the space and time it needs to be able to once again feel like you're expressing optimal health. But these products will help you rebound all that much faster and function and feel all that much better on a regular basis. Thank you so much. I hope you found this enjoyable. I hope you found it was helpful. Of course, if you have any other questions, by all means, reach out to the individual who invited you to doTERRA, and they will be happy to walk you through each and every one of these products and oils. Thanks so much. Have a great day.